This writing assignment is called descriptive assignment, just like the concrete one was, but this is abstract. And so this is things that we can't touch, feel, taste. Did you have a question? No, okay. It is more of the thoughts, an idea, and it's something that is much harder to write about because you can't add in all that wonderful little description that I heard some of you guys adding in. So at the top, it talks about the concrete. I didn't take that out, but at the bottom, it talks about the abstract. And some examples are down there. So you have friendship, war, peace, love, hate, anger, beauty. Can anybody think of any others that you could add to that list? Abstract or ideas. Philip? A what? I'm sorry, I just can't hear you very well. Colors. They could be. So you could just try to describe, it's something that you see, but trying to describe it is a challenge, I will tell you that. So colors could be. What else could be an abstract idea? I mean, I gave you a pretty good list here. Yeah. Personality. Certain words. One that I usually use as an example is the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, and I'm missing one. Gentleness. Any of those you could use as an abstract topic to try to describe. There's other virtues, strength, just faith, trying to describe that. So there's all these kinds of things. Donnie? Music? You could try to describe music. You certainly could talk about you could talk about the science behind it and the vibrations and things like that. I think it's probably a little easier to actually talk about the music from a particular instrument and the sound that comes from an instrument. So you have an idea of what I'm talking about here with the abstract, where we're going to do a model outline on the board. So I want you to turn to that second page, and the model outline that we're doing is comfort. Now, a number of years, I attached questions to this outline so that there were specific things that you could go through and answer and do, and then you come up with, hopefully, enough material to write about. So, in the first, if you look down on the first one, it says define. So, if you are going to define comfort, what would you say? Defining comfort, what would we say? And the definition that I have here might be very different from what you would say. What is comfort? Feeling good? Safe? Now, I did it in the context of relationship and friendship. And so I put here a comfortable friendship would be mutual affection. That means we both like each other. We have similar interests. It's not a boyfriend, girlfriend. It's just, good friend. And I'm comfortable with that. Two people. And I put here relationship. So you want to define. So I'm gonna pick one of. I'm going to make one of you give me a topic, and we're going to define it. So as we go, I'm going to define, and I'm going to do my outline, but then we're also going to kind of be doing one for you. What's a topic that you guys might do? Benai? War, okay. So Benai says he wants to do war. I'm going to put comfort here and war here. Now, how would we define war? You certainly can look it up in a dictionary. I'd like you to work out of your head, though. Anger. What else? Can you guys help him? No, it could just be, you might mainly want to just think about, you don't want to think about a specific one, although you can use specific examples. Go ahead. Well, you want to, so what you want to do is kind of, let's pretend an alien has just landed on Earth. And you start talking to them about war. And they look at you like, I don't know what that is. You want to be able to give them a couple of words. And Donnie had his hand up. Did you have something? Conflict. Nice big word there. And ideology. That means my ideas of the way things should be are not the same as yours. Philip. Correct. The alien has no idea. You have something? Maybe violent. You could even use the word enemy. So that's what you want to do. Go ahead, Philip. Nice, clear, and loud. Killing, is that what you said? Okay. All right, so that first part of your outline needs to tell me what this is. You pretend an alien has no idea, and you're trying to explain it to them. And the second question I want you to answer is, why are you even discussing this topic? And so for me, for comfort, I said, this was number 2, that good friendships, I want to tell others what good friendships are like. Yeah. Well, we could talk about that, but let's get back to comfort here. So good friendships, feeling at home with somebody. Did you have something on the comfort? Or war? Okay, so then if we wanted to zero in on Benai and say, well, Benai, why do you want to talk about this? That's what he has to answer in the second. So what do you want him to talk about, Elizabeth? You don't know? So remember, you're trying to tell me why you want to talk about it. Why do you want to talk about it? Okay. You want people to see the reality of war? Like death and all of that? The death and the destruction. You think about Civil War, it was so destructive. So you have to figure out, why do I want to talk about this? And you're making a keyword outline as we go. That's all you're doing here. It just looks a little different. I'm giving you prompting questions. Then I want you to give me examples. And this might be where you talk about specific things. So if I am talking about examples of comfort, I might talk about Jonathan and David in the Bible, or Ruth and Naomi. I might talk about a personal example. I have a really good friend, and I might talk about them. I might give example like characteristics. I probably want to spend a couple of keyword sentences on this. So 1, 2, but then maybe 3 and 4 down here. Because I want to give examples. So this is where you could give me examples. Like, what has been a really bad war in our history? Yeah, lots of examples. We could talk about the Middle East and constant war there. You could talk about how there never seems to be an end. That one war seems to lead to another. Guys, pay attention. One war seems to lead to another. So it's just constantly this vicious cycle. So you can give examples. You can do a tad bit of research. So Benai, if you wanted to give an example, you could say, wars are just full of death and destruction. For example, in the Civil War, there were this many people that died, or this many people that were injured. Yes, so you could, I wouldn't give all the battles. I would just kind of clump the whole category. Or how many people have died in our history, Benai, in war? That would be an interesting number. So in 3 and 4, you want to give some examples. Now, another thing that's helpful is to give me the opposite. Let me erase this so I have some more room here. Giving me the opposite helps me to see a new possibility. So the opposite of comfort is what? What's the opposite of comfort? Discomfort. So that would be number 5. This is the opposite. Discomfort, uncomfortable, painful maybe. I want somebody to understand the opposite. Now, what is the opposite of war? Peace. When people can get along. When peace treaties are signed and people now suddenly work together. People don't what? Okay, yes. So they don't live in fear of the death and the blood and all of that. Yeah, I do want to see some of these questions answered. Some of you may have a super easy time doing this. And some of you may be like, I don't even know where to start. So for the person who doesn't know where to start, this outline is good. If you're really comfortable, then you may not completely need the outline. But organizing it is important because I could start talking about love, and I could say, love is really cool. And a lot of people love each other. And I think love is like when a boy and girl like each other. And you see love in the Bible, but that was when like Ruth and Boaz liked each other. I'm not really accomplishing anything. I'm just kind of talking about it. So you want to make sure that because you don't have all those descriptive things to tell me, like in the concrete topic, that you do have things to tell me, examples, opposites, things like that. Yes? So could I ask you to do what? Yeah, you can ask them for some help and examples. All right, so we talked about the opposite. So this was the opposite. The opposite of war would be peace. Then what does friendship, this comfortable relationship looks like? What does war look like? Death, guns, weapons, people hating each other. And so you want to give me the contrasts. Here's peace, but here's the reality of war. And I want to be able to see both of those. Then, as you finish it up, you kind of bring it home. It becomes personal to you. Personal examples. Like, you said you have a dad. He's in the army. So that's a personal example. Has he been deployed in war zones? You said your brother's very into all of that. So you pull on those personal examples. Perhaps you pull on the war in our history that's most meaningful to you, and you talk about that. If you're talking, like for me, when I'm talking about the comfortable friendship and the comfort that I find in friends, I probably share about a good friend from college. But you can also share maybe friends you found in sports or school, and you want to cheer them on. You want to be their friend. You want to care for them. So I try to give some examples, personal, and then more. And I want to encourage them. I want them to encourage me. I want them to win at life or win in the game. I want them to be happy. I don't want them to lose. I just wrote a lot of key words here that I could talk about in those personal examples. And then finally, it's the reflection piece where you talk about, you kind of wrap it up. Like, so for me, I would say friendships that bring us comfort help us to grow, or they help us during difficult times. They help us when we're falling asleep after lunch because we're so tired. And our friends kind of encourage us on. Why are you guys so tired? Did you eat a lot of sugar? No? Oh, yum. I love that. So you want to kind of wrap it up at the end why it's meaningful to you. This is a hard thing to talk about, something abstract. And later on in high school and college, you'll have to talk about this more and more. Or you'll have to kind of talk about abstract topics and you'll have to analyze them. So I've given you your own little outline with your own little questions there. And so all you really need to do is kind of go through and answer them. Different question, or like Elizabeth asked, can I loosely follow this? Yes, you can put some different things in there. Now let me see how far you're going with this. I can't remember if you're just outlining. Create your abstract outline by answering the questions. So you're just creating the outline at home tomorrow. And I want it on this piece of paper. Okay? So you will be following along, and you're going to bring this back on Monday or Wednesday, and I'll take a look at it. You'll just keep it stapled and turn the whole thing. No, you're actually going to do the writing, and I'm going to give you an example of the writing before you do it. You're not writing the paragraph until I actually take a look at the outline. Okay, so that's what you're going to bring up. Either, I haven't decided if I'm going to have you take a picture of it and send it to me early in the week, or bring it to class next week. I don't want to get too far out from actually doing the writing for this. So that's what we'll be working on next week. Now, the poem. How are we doing? Well, it's not a poem. How are we doing on that? All right. So while we're finishing up here, it's the Declaration of Independence, the unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. That. So everybody got that? All right, what I want you to do is take 60 seconds and look over it, and then you're going to put it away, and I'm going to read it, and you have to fill in the blanks for me. Well, if you ask your mom to go look on Sycamore, it's probably posted up there. Okie doke? So take a minute to look over it. Does Philip have one you can look at? No? Okay, are we ready? All right, so put it away. The unanimous blank of the 13 United States of America. Declaration, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the blank of human events, course, it becomes necessary for one blank to dissolve the political bands. Persons, yes, or people, which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal blank station. Are you looking? Oh, okay. To which the laws of nature and of nature's blank, God, how about, I want to hear some over on this side, entitle them a decent respect to the blank of mankind, opinions of mankind, requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the blank separation. So I would encourage you to do this. I can even, it's on Sycamore. I think you can probably download it, and you could actually delete words out of it and then try to fill them in. All right, here's the really important part. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are, and then I want to hear all three. Good. That to secure these rights, blank are instituted among men. Governments, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government, so yeah, if you just say government, you probably get it right. You guys need a distance. Are you looking at the poem? Okay. Let's see. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the blank of the people, right of the people, to alter or to abolish it and institute new government, laying its blank foundation on the principles of organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Okay, well, you guys are doing pretty well with that. So I really want you, if you're overwhelmed with both paragraphs, then I want you to really focus on the second one. We hold these truths. Okay? All right, let's get our stuff packed up, and then I need you to, did anybody use the boards? Did anybody use the boards? If you use the boards, you need to clean them off.